All right, welcome to the Jim Acosta Show. Saw in the comments that folks are frustrated. We get it. I get it. You hear me on a daily basis. And somebody who really gets it is my friend Ruth Ben-Ghiat, who is a terrific. I mean, she's just an indispensable light right now in this movement to stop authoritarianism in the U.S. I guess that is really embodied by these No Kings protests that are taking place. They started in June. They're going to happen again on Saturday. No Kings 2. We're going to talk about that now. Ruth, great to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Sure. Always a pleasure to speak with you.
Yeah. And I guess just to pick up on the conversation, I mean, do you think Dems have fought hard enough? Do you think that they just communicated a little too much weakness at the start of this administration and that now they're kind of paying the price? We're all kind of paying the price. Or was Trump just going to just steamroll no matter what was going to take place, no matter what the pushback was going to be? What do you think?
I don't think it's either or. I think that Trump and his colleagues were going to steamroll no matter what. They prepared to steamroll ahead of time. They used their time out of office brilliantly. Books will be written about this. They probably already are as we speak.
Yeah.
They had not just, Project 2025. They had all kinds of playbooks ready to go. And so they hit the ground, and we know what happened after that. And really, there is no equivalent in, 10 months now of this administration. There's no equivalent among authoritarians who came to office via elections. If you look at the first 10 months of even Vladimir Putin or Erdogan or Orban, they didn't have such a pace and scope of things that have been done. So this was going to happen anyway. It was part of what the Heritage Foundation called the revolution. Kevin Roberts' book that they decided not to publish because it was too revealing that they want a revolution. And this is indeed a revolutionary pace. So Democrats, the thing with the bipartisan structure is that you have these two giant parties. And a lot of countries that have faced autocratic aggression have multi-party systems. And so each party, they're smaller, but they're a lot more flexible. And sometimes people go back and forth among the parties. The parties make coalitions, even with other parties they don't like that much. But so the Democratic Party, being one of two giant parties, was a little fossilized. And it's not really built for flexibility. It hasn't had to deal with this before. Yeah. And so it's not surprising that they were on their back foot at the beginning. And also, for example, voting for, confirmation of officials who've turned out to be, in my opinion, ideological fanatics. This was the remnant of bipartisanship, whereas what they were dealing with were people, the core people like Stephen Miller and others. They're not interested in bipartisanship. And now Trump is speaking about Democrats as gnats, as insects, right, to brush away. That's very disturbing.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And I mean, when you talk about how, Trump is rolling faster than Putin did, Erdogan did, others did, I mean, that's kind of chilling to think about. But I can't think of anything that illustrates that point better than what has been taking place with ICE. And I wonder how much of a parallel you've seen between the way ICE has taken shape over the last few months and, say, Putin's secret police force. And I want to show video. We made a compilation of some of the crazy, outlandish ICE activity that we've seen in the last couple of weeks. Let's play that, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
I am allowed to film.
Just give us some distance
while you arrest this man and leave their child in the car.
Back up. Show us a warrant signed by a judge.
Turn him around.
You don't have a warrant.
Who is a U.S. citizen, was walking to a bus stop on the city's north side when Border Patrol agents pushed her to the ground, detained her, then drove off with her. Ms. Brockman was taken to the ground, battered, handcuffed, and her pants were pulled down, exposing her bare buttocks.
These armed ICE officers came after you. It's just wild.
Yeah, that video is actually the third time that ICE has thrown me to the ground.
What's that? Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck! He's a citizen! He's a citizen! He's a citizen!
To demand oversight on federal law enforcement? Well, I've not seen them cross the line yet, and that we have committees of jurisdiction who have that responsibility, but it's not risen to that level. What I've seen is the abuse of law enforcement by radical leftist activists. Most recently, the most threatening thing I've seen yet was the naked bicyclers in Portland who were protesting ICE down there. I mean, it's getting really ugly.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Johnson, it's really difficult to take anything that he says seriously right now. But Ruth, I mean, when you look at that compilation of video and you see all of these ICE officers or Border Patrol officers that are in masks, it looks to me like Putin's secret police sweeping people up, putting them in vans. What's been your take on this? I've been anxious to hear it.
Yes, what they're doing, the way they're dressed, their behavior, the way they evidently feel empowered to act in a completely thuggish and lawless manner is typical of how all kinds of state security forces, as they're called abroad, act. And in fact, ICE has been filling some of the duties of secret police abroad, where you come upon somebody, you abduct them. Some of them are masked. In Russia, sometimes there are groups that are masked. And the key is to terrorize people during their daily activities, also to humiliate them. So the woman who had her pants pulled down, and to transform the public sphere, where you go to shop for food, picking your kids up from school, your neighborhood, your apartment building. Nothing is safe anymore. And the goal is to keep people too terrified to speak out, even to help other people who are under assault by ICE. And that hasn't worked so far, which really enrages the administration. So when Speaker Johnson says he hasn't seen anybody cross the line, I would say that there is no line anymore. That's been a part of the Trump administration, to remove checks against people acting in a corrupt or lawless manner. And they've done that with institutionally, like getting rid of a lot of institutions in government that monitored kleptocracy, all kinds of rollbacks of ethics. And this goes all the way to the ground. So you have now ICE, which is going to be funded at a level that's more than the entire armed forces of major other countries like Brazil.
Right.
So we have to pay very close attention to the way these people are acting, because they are becoming a kind of hub within the state in ways you see in autocracies.
Yeah. And you're so right when you say that they're going to get more funding. I mean, to the tune of tens of billions of dollars in more funding, which means what you're seeing now is just the beginning. And it's just a fraction of what we're likely to see. And if Trump invokes the Insurrection Act, that's another layer of sending in sort of militarized police into cities. And I think that's a bright red line. And if the other branches of our government don't act, I don't know what happens after that. It seems to me that's a turning point. That's a major turning point, it seems to me.
Yeah, and you can look at the very good compilation that you just showed, and we're already past a turning point. The United States has been transformed in ways that people are reeling from, just seeing everything and feel very different, and it's so dangerous now for many people. So in autocracy, there's never just one moment, although you do have things like when Hitler did the Enabling Act. Certainly invoking the Insurrection Act would start a new chapter of this. But one of my theories, since this started in Los Angeles in June, and I wrote a New York Times essay on it, said, and they entitled it, "Trump wants you to get used to this." meaning the reason, part of the reason they did these over-the-top responses to protests starting in Los Angeles and then scaling it up is not only the sight of people helping the vulnerable had to be shut down because that's empathy, that's solidarity, but they wanted to have Americans get used to the sight of Marines, of National Guard. And so now we have, and you see the compilation you made, they're everywhere and they're part of our life now. And so the Insurrection Act, if this ever happens, we already have a kind of psychological basis for this. It doesn't make it any less lawless and outrageous, but you see, they're master propagandists, and they've been feeding us images and experiences that make it more difficult to say, okay, this is the line.
Yeah. No, it's true. They're the DHS videos. They look like something out of Hollywood, where they've produced these slickly, put together videos of ICE officers and you name it. Basically opening up like Apocalypse Now type scenes in American cities. And but it brings me to this, Ruth, and that is, to me, one of the great traditions of this country is that we push back. When things go too far, we push back, we march, we demonstrate, we speak out, we do things like this, we speak to one another, and we have our voices heard. And I'm just wondering, to you, when you see, because you and I haven't talked in some time, when you see No Kings really doing so well, I mean, they're talking about this time around, let me just see if I can find the numbers. They're expecting 5 million demonstrators around the country, the organizers of No Kings, people like Indivisible. I'll have Ezra Levin on my show tomorrow. He's one of the co-founders there. But I mean, 5 million, I mean, that's extraordinary. And this is just the beginning. I mean, we're in year one, and they've had two of these very successful, they're about to have their second of these successful events.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm optimistic, and I have a saying that you never underestimate the American people. And the other thing to know is that no country, especially one of the giant size and complexity of the United States, ever constructed a really viable pro-democracy movement in just a few months. Normally, a pro-democracy movement will come about when a state, an authoritarian state, has been there for a while. So we're actually, it can seem extremely slow and painfully slow, but in fact, what matters is the momentum. So we had Hands Off was the first organized protest, a great slogan. No Kings, equally great slogan. So this is the second iteration. And what we see is momentum, that the crowds are getting bigger. There's also more creativity in protest. I wrote a piece for my Substack Lucid on the Portland chicken, who's actually he has a master's in game theory, and he's actually very eloquent about protest. About using humor to disrupt the narrative of Antifa, lunatics. Instead, you have chickens and frogs. And there's a kind of joy. Yes, the frogs, exactly. So,
and there's a unicorn, and I think a couple of other animals.
Yeah. And humor has actually been used successfully, like in Serbia with this movement called Optor, and other places to as part of on the streets resistance. So we're doing very well in very challenging conditions, because I'll repeat that unless we're talking about a junta like a Pinochet, where you've got a coup and then the military's there from day one, having this level of kind of militarized people around, and different types of militarized people, but having a force like ICE be so brutal so fast is very, very challenging. And so the fact that so many people are coming out is a testament to the wonderful, optimism and resolve of the American people.
Yeah. And Ruth, I mean, just to kind of start wrapping things up, I mean, the thing that worries me, though, is the way they've responded to this second round of No Kings protests. They're obviously very worried. They obviously see a problem, political problem for themselves, my guess is that in addition to progressives, you're seeing some independents out there, and maybe even some disaffected MAGA Republicans who are becoming more disaffected, it seems to me, by the day. They're starting to feel a bite from Trump's economic policies and so on. But the way that the administration and its allies have been talking about these No Kings protests, saying that they're hate America rallies or that this is Antifa, they're trying to, again, going back to your point about propaganda, sort of chum the waters for perhaps a crackdown on this kind of rising up of people's voices. What do you think?
Yeah, they've been working very hard. Again, these are master propagandists to set the frame within which people will see these protests. And I don't just mean see it on Fox News. And that's why they've had, they've been filming. They have Kristi Noem filming things, or there with film crews. They've been trying to construct the argument that the cities are Antifa hellholes through images. But that's going to get harder as more people wake up and come out to the streets. Already, didn't they like slam an 83-year-old grandmother to the ground early on? And so, people are going to know this person in their communities. It's going to be harder as things get worse and more people are disaffected and they come out, or they watch different. Perhaps they're not watching only Fox News, or they know someone at their church who tells them a different story. It's going to be harder for the administration to keep everybody convinced of its extremely over-the-top narratives. That it's jihadis, it's Hamas, they're throwing too many things. They're actually overreaching.
Right.
Right
sort of
now.
like when Trump says, "Oh, the Biden FBI had all these plants in the crowd on January 6th," which, of course, first of all, it makes him sound like he's not all there, which he's not. But I mean, wait a minute. I saw the Oath Keepers, busting into the Capitol. We saw all of this violence take place. I mean, they're trying to ask us to not even believe our own eyes and ears and what we know to be true anymore. I mean, it's Orwellianism can only go so far, it seems to me. In America, it's
and it backfires. It backfires in established regimes, and the fact they're doing all of this so quickly and so ferociously could turn to bite them back as well.
Yeah. Well, Ruth, great to see you as always. Thanks so much, and forgive me for pestering you every so often to beg you to come on. But
it's a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I know you're busy with your students, and you're also busy with your wonderful Lucid Substack, which I am a subscriber. I've been for some time. It's kind of the only reason I knew what Substack was before I jumped into Substack earlier this year. So you kind of helped get me involved in all this. So I have to blame you. But Ruth, great to see you as always.
Thanks so much, Jim.
All right, good to see you. Thanks a lot. All right, that's the wonderful Ruth Ben-Ghiat. She has also written an incredible book, which I have on my bookcase behind me. Where is the darn thing? Here it is. This is, I'm going to knock stuff over. This is Ruth's book. This is required reading, and I just showed all the reflections of the lights in my studio, but that's okay. I don't care. This is required. If you have not read Ruth's book, I'm not doing this to get Ruth on my show or sell books or anything. This is required reading. You must read this book. This will tell you everything that you need to know about what we're going through right now. Tim Snyder's book is also good too. And I wrote a book a while back, but Ruth's book is much better. So my thanks to Ruth as well. Okay, couple of announcements to make. First of all, tomorrow evening, Thursday evening in Charlottesville, Virginia, on the grounds of UVA, I'm not supposed to say campus, they're very fancy at UVA, on the grounds of UVA, I'm going to be having a live program, live podcast with the one and only Mike Fanone. Yes, Michael Fanone is going to be with me, and we're going to be talking to a group of students and community members and so on about everything that's going on. We are going to try our damnedest to broadcast this live tomorrow evening from 7 o'clock, I believe, to 8:30. But these things never end on time. So we'll probably go from like 7 to 9 o'clock because Mike and I will totally, just pop off and just say everything that's on our minds. But it's going to be a great event down at the University of Virginia. For the folks out there who are not aware, I am a visiting scholar at the University of Virginia this year. And so as part of my duties, I'm very happy to help out. I'll be having this live, sort of a town hall fireside chat, whatever you call it, but we're gonna put it out live on the platforms tomorrow evening. So look out for that. As I mentioned earlier, I'm also going to be interviewing Ezra Levin of Indivisible. That'll be tomorrow around 4:30 as I'm getting ready for this event, the big No Kings event coming up on Saturday. And as part of that, I'm sorry to overburden you with announcements. Don Lemon, Joy King, and Joy Reid, excuse me, John Lemon, Joy Reid, and myself. I'm looking at the No Kings thing right now. We're going to be doing live coverage down on the National Mall on Saturday, early in the afternoon, as the demonstrations are taking place, not only in Washington, but all across the country. There you see right there. There's the fancy graphic. No Kings coverage. My EP Matt throwing this up. We're testing the limits of our virtual studio platform here, but that's going to be taking place Saturday early in the afternoon. So please stay tuned for that. And I just want to say, Ruth was talking about ICE tactics and so on. This one jumped out at me. It's a top drudge report right now. Apparently, the Border Patrol down in El Paso shot a family dog. This is a story. I mean, there are so many of these stories that are flying at us every day. This may have happened. I believe this happened in September, but it's just now becoming public. And this story is high up on Drudge right now. And El Paso family claims Border Patrol killed their dog during search. And the Border Patrol people are reviewing the incident. I mean, this just goes to show you folks what in God's name is happening in our country. It just goes to show you that the Trump administration is totally out of control. They've gone totally wild. These thuggish, brutal tactics that we're seeing in Chicago. I mean, we're running the risk of seeing this take place in every community in this country. We're seeing it already taking place in a lot of different cities across the country. They're taking place in all the major cities. And I will say, you do see examples from time to time of people pushing back. In Chicago, they've been blowing whistles at ICE officers. Obviously, you're seeing the apps that people put on their phones that block ICE and so on, that from time to time get knocked down. But people are pushing back. People are saying, hell no, we're not going to put up with things like shooting the family dog. We're not going to put up with people getting pinned to the ground in school parking lots when parents are trying to pick up their kids. We're not going to put up with it. We're not going to put up with it. But you heard me talk about No Kings, but I think I may have found my queen. I think I may have found my queen. I just want to show this footage. There's a nice lady in New York City who was at the immigration courthouse, and she said, "I'm not going to take any of this shit." And let's show a little video of that, and we'll talk about it.
I wish you would. I wish the fuck you would. Yes, the fuck we his family. You all a bunch of big pussies. Don't tell me calm down. Who the fuck is you? We don't like none of you.
You okay?
No, how can I be okay? You okay? Are you okay?
Are you okay?
I look like I'm okay? Don't come up in my face here because I hit hard. Fuck wrong with y'all.
Try it.
I wish you would.
Try it.
You try me and see what the fuck happened. Nigga, we angry. All of us angry out here. So don't think it's y'all alone.
Get out of here.
Who you telling get out of here? Why you telling me get out of here? You asked me a question and I'm answering you.
Get out of here. Man.
Fuck wrong with you? Oh, stupid ass bitch. That's why you gotta hide your face.
You wanna go to jail?
You told me my mother I can tell you anything.
You wanna go to
Fuck
jail?
wrong with you? You wanna hit me? Hit me, bitch. You ain't got me. Nobody's scared of you. You're a pussy ass. Come. I got rings on, bitch. So me and you gonna fight. You a pussy bitch. You a pussy bitch. That's why your kids them don't like you and your wife is fucking on you. That's why you gotta hide your face. My face ain't hidden, bitch. I'm American, you stupid bitch. Fuck wrong with y'all? You can take me too high. I'm Charlotte the Zodiac friends. You know what to do? Tell them, no.
I mean, this just goes to show you. This is how angry the American people are getting right now. American citizens are being harassed. Women and children are being taken to the ground and pinned and humiliated and treated like garbage. Donald Trump said during the campaign, we're going after the criminals, we're going after the gang members. Does any of this, what we're seeing right now, look like going after criminals and gang members, ladies and gentlemen? The video coming out of Chicago on a daily basis is unreal. It's un-American. It's not who we are. And so, folks might take issue with that nice lady's language that she was using at the Manhattan courthouse. I don't take issue with it. I kind of like it because a lot of people are getting pissed off right now. And she is well within her rights to tell those officers exactly how she feels. That's what No Kings is all about. No Kings is all about having your voice, making it heard, letting the people in power know we're not going to take this lying down. We're not going to take this shit. Shooting the family dog, pinning mom to the ground outside of school, chasing people through Walgreens, chasing people on bicycles, harassing people at the immigration courthouse. People who are showing up at the immigration courthouse are doing what they're supposed to do. They're showing up in court, and even at the courthouse where they're doing what they're supposed to do, they're being roughed up by ICE. They're being verbally abused by ICE. And so I will tell you, we may not be into kings in this country, but I think I just found my queen right there in New York City. All right, my thanks to Senator Mark Warner of Virginia. My thanks to Ruth Ben-Ghiat for joining us as always. Thanks to all of you. Remember, tomorrow evening in Virginia at UVA, I'll be doing that live podcast, town hall, fireside chat, whatever you want to call it, with Mike Fanone at the University of Virginia. That should be a lot of fun. And on Saturday, our No Kings coverage early in the afternoon with Don Lemon, Joy Reid, should be a lot of fun. In the meantime, thanks everybody for watching. Still reporting from Washington, I'm Jim Acosta. Have a good evening. I'll see you next time.